Donald Trump, we don't deserve him.
He makes a confession about his favorite impression, President Trump defending his imitation of trans weightlifters. Trans weightlifters after the First Lady had told him to knock it off. By the way, does his wife hate when he does this?
By the way, my wife hates when I do this. She said, she's a very classy person, right? She said, it's so unpresidential. I said, but I did become president. She hates when I dance. I said, everybody wants me to dance. Darling, it's not presidential. She actually said, could you imagine FDR dancing? She said that to me. And I said, there's a long history that perhaps she doesn't know. Because he was an elegant fellow, even as a Democrat, right?
Amazing. True. Most people didn't know FDR was in a wheelchair. Presidents hide a lot of things, like birth certificates and death certificates, cigars. But what does Melania say?
She says, darling, please, the weightlifting is terrible. And I have to say this, the dancing they really like. She said they don't like it, they're just being nice to you. I said, that's not right. The place goes crazy. They're screaming, dance, please.
Dance, Trump, dance! But the weightlifting.
Yeah. But the weightlifting, but no, the girl gets up. And you see, I want to be more, but I have somebody watching. I want to be more effusive. I want to really, But she gets it, drops the thing, walks off the stage crying. Her mother's crying, her father's crying. Guy gets up. He said, have you lifted before? A little bit. And he walks up. Bing. He could have gone ding, 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 ding. I think it was 112 pounds, huh? It's crazy.
It's crazy. But beyond his comedic chops, Trump's also very cognizant of law enforcement.
I'm very cognizant of law enforcement, perhaps more than anybody in history. Actually, a friend of mine who's really smart said, you've got to be the most honest guy in history.
Well, there it is, proof. Yeah. Trump also slammed degenerate leftist radicals and Dem politicians. Do you think Waltz could pass a cognitive test?
Do you think Waltz could pass a cognitive test, as an example? Do you think Kamala could? I don't think Gavin could. He's got a good line of crap, but other than that, he couldn't pass. By the way, Venezuela, everyone, they're marching in the streets. I love it, except in New York. I mean, where they find these people? These people, they're not like, these people are a mess. I know it's not nice to say that. These people are a mess. Where do they find these people? They're the worst looking people I've ever seen. They really...
Rich, Trump is president and a comedian. It's got to bother you that you're neither.
First of all, you're 2 for 2 tonight. First of all, I'd rather watch Stephen Hawkins dance. He has the rhythm of a burn victim. I don't know where that came from. He stinks. But what's a question? Give me a question.
All right. What was your favorite part?
Of that?
Yeah.
When he was talking about lifting.
Yeah.
I guess the hardest thing for him to lift is his ego. That was a pretty good line for the other side.
Yeah, write that down on your card. Next time you're on Don Lemon's podcast.
For your final appearance, that was really a
First of all,
letdown, I gotta say. So, Kat, I don't think Trump would be so funny if it wasn't for the Dems giving him so much good material. I mean, it's like all this stuff is just being fed to him.
I don't know. I really like the new Melania bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet Melania didn't like it. I was like, oh, I bet you she's gonna talk to you about this too.
Yeah.
Because you just like you don't see very much of her, like hear very much from her. I would like to just like watch them.
It is true. I don't think my wife would know that FDR was in a wheelchair. I didn't even know he was in a wheelchair until this story.
What?
I'm kidding. I knew.
Or did you just change it to knowing because of the reaction from the audience?
Yes. I can't remember. Is that it?
Sure.
Okay.
You can go back to me.
Cyrus,
Thank you, though.
Cyrus, the best part is that the stuff he's saying, it's true.
The best part of this, and I think for a lot of powerful men who watch that, and I consider myself a powerful man physically and mentally, is that I no longer feel bad because I don't run my house either.
Yeah.
It's okay. Even if you're the president of the United States, the buck stops with the wife. Anyone else walked up to President Trump and the White House goes, hey, you're dancing stupid.
Yeah.
That person would never be, well, first of all, have been publicly drawn and quartered.
Yeah.
A lot of been fired, would have never been able to work anywhere else, and there'd have been at least 6 panels of different TV shows talking about how stupid they are or how much of a hero he is. Mm-hmm. So I think it's cool that we're able to see that with all the stuff's going on, he's as normal as we are.
Yeah.
He lives a normal life. His wife does not like his behavior. Yeah. You know, and the guys are clapping because they're sitting next to their wives. I understand.
Yes.
But it's the same. But it's the thing. Like this. He makes fun of himself, which again, for the extreme left, is difficult because you're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And I like it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.